Welcome to Is It a Film? A weekly podcast that critiques and means film and asks one very important question. Is it a film?
No.
It's not a film?
Oh, I don't know.
You're giving spoilers away.
Oh, shit.
But also, watch out, because spoilers.
But also watch out, because society.
Even more terrible.
We live in a society.
I'm your host, Vincent, a.k.a. Love That Joker.
Love that Joker.
Oh, and I gotta read the rest.
Yeah, you read the rest of your dumb shit.
And I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my droog, Jonathan.
AKA, I'm the Joker, baby.
This is episode 22 of Is It a Film? An episode we would like to call The Worst Part About Living in a Society is that people expect you to behave as if you don't.
That's a Tumblr quote.
Today we're going to the 2019 American psychological thriller film, Joker.
It's also a comic book film.
It's a comic book movie.
Because you know Joker.
Well, it's not really. It has a comic book character
Which
in it.
makes it a comic book film.
Yeah, technically.
It's more of a Martin Scorsese film than anything, even though he didn't even direct it.
He just produced it.
Basically, Joker is what happens when somebody sits down while after reading a bunch of Batman comics and then watches Taxi Driver, immediately followed by King of Comedy, and is like, I can make a movie.
I think he just executive produced it because he's not.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese did, but like.
No, I'm saying he didn't even actually produce it. He just executive.
Yeah, basically, he just like, I want to make this, and then there was like, well, if we're Scorsese's, and I gotta make it a Scorsese film, so I'll just rip off 2 Scorsese films. Throw in the Joker.
Today we're gonna go over the basic accents, telling you why it's important, going over some of the memes that I've been seeing.
So many memes.
And also we're going over the Wikipedia plot summary, the IMDb and Google reviews, and also a terrible last segment that we'll make up on the fly.
Are we actually going to do one this time? I feel like we keep forgetting to do one.
I think this week I have one in mind.
You have one in mind?
If I can remember it, yeah.
Okay,
I have
good.
a couple.
Got a couple?
Yeah. If you want to follow, before we start, if you want to follow if you want to follow Is It a Film on social media, find us at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Is It a Film. If you want to find us on YouTube, you click on youtube.com/Is It a Film. Patreon, if you want to support the show monetarily, patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. And you can find Is It a Film in audio form on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, all by searching The Anthony and Todd Show. You get the best of both worlds, music and film reviews, all in the same place.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to hear not me talking. Yeah. So, because Trevor sometimes
So it's better.
Yeah. So, best of the only world. The only best. Me not being there.
Are you ready to get in the basic ass intro?
I thought we have to pick the clickbait title first.
That's in the basic ass intro.
That's not really, I guess, kind of, whatever.
What? Okay, what's the clickbait title for this week?
Is it a society?
I don't think we.
Top it. Try it.
I want like an actual title, but honestly, not as a. I think like a good title would be not as big as a meme as it's projected to be, because it really wasn't.
It isn't. He only says society once.
Yeah, he was, and when he did, I marked for it. I pointed to you. I was like, "Oh, he said it! He said it!
We can leave now."
Also, I marked out to you when they first introduced the steps. All the memes. Is a society that'll work? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Also, not as big as a meme as projected.
Yeah.
So, what is Joker? Well, it's 2019 American psychological thriller film. It is the origin story for the Batman villain, the DC comic book villain, the Joker. And it's kind of, sort of, not really based on the Killing Joke origin story.
It's not at all. Have you read Killing Joke?
Yeah, it's not, sort of. Like, I think the fact that it's like... Cause
literally the only thing that they're like, it's based on the Killing Joke is that's like the main comic book that explored a possible origin of Joker.
That's essentially
not even the actual, like, definitive origin. But, like, it's not the only one to have ever done that.
I think...
Because, like, in the comics, Joker's fame, this whole, like, one of his lines, if I'm going to have an origin, I want it to be multiple choice.
Yeah.
So,
his thing is, like, you never... This is the only one where I feel like the Killing Joke actually...
The only thing,
it's loose. You don't actually know if he's telling the truth or not.
And like the stand-up comic bit. That's the only other thing that's like in Killing Joke.
Because he doesn't have a wife. He doesn't fall into a pit of acid. Like,
yeah, he's not the Red Hood at any point.
Yeah, I always forget that he was a Red Hood.
He doesn't cripple Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, that's not part of his origin though.
Yeah, but like it's you can only say it's based on the Killing Joke because it shares the stand-up comic routine bit and it's an origin story. But, like, this is too definitive-ish of an origin. There's a lot of ambiguity of what is and isn't real in this film, but whatever.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, yeah, there is.
I think like compared to, I think it's pretty for the most part. What isn't real is like a lot of the. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to get over it now, but like I think comparative to like like any other origin story of the Joker, this one feels like pretty solid.
It feels more solid, but there's still a lot.
It doesn't feel like what we're seeing.
It's not ambiguous in terms of like his actual origin so much. It's ambiguous about some of the events surrounding it.
Yeah, like what he sees,
and the ending, whether or not that's real or not.
Yeah,
and like yeah.
Why are we talking about this? Some of the reasons, some of the memes going into this. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10 review that mentions society 30-something times in the review.
IGN and they're stupid.
So like that set the bar pretty high for a lot of people because like this review came out in like August.
Yeah.
And also won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, which is high honor.
It's pretty impressive for a comic book film.
Yeah, and
that's a Martin Scorsese ripoff.
It's also the 8th highest grossing film of 2019 and the 4th highest grossing R-rated film of all time.
At this point, it's projected to end up taking #1 for R-rated. I think is what a lot of people projecting it'll end up doing by the end of its run.
What's the top?
Passion of the Christ, I think, is still #1.
Still, I thought Deadpool beat that.
No, Deadpool won like opening day. But Passion of the Christ had that hardcore Christian following where they just kept going to fucking see it. Because Christians are stupid. they are the biggest fucking sheep ever.
This film's directed by Todd Phillips, who did Old School, The Hangover Trilogy, War Dogs, and School for Scoundrels. There's some decent in here, and there's also some bad.
There's a lot of things in here that like, oh, how did this guy make Joker?
Yeah,
like how do you go from Old School, the Hangover Trilogy, and School for Scoundrels and be like, yeah, I can make a Joker movie?
I think War Dogs to this is
Makes
pretty
sense,
decent transition because that's like political, but it's also like funny. This is like dark humor. This is like still a different type of humor.
It's just super dark.
Going over some of his work, Old School's okay.
Never seen it.
It's like it's like a decent 2000s comedy. Will Ferrell. Yeah. It's like if you like him, you like him.
I don't. Really.
The first Hangovers are good. The second one's like
I watched like 10 minutes of the second one. And I was like, okay, this is just gonna be.
The only good thing about the Hangover trilogy is that Ken Jeong's in him.
Yeah.
Not like he needs more work.
And
just give that
Zach Galifianakis.
He's okay.
Does Between Two Ferns, which is the only thing that he does that's worthwhile.
Yeah. And it's written by Scott Silver and Todd Phillips. The only other notable credit Scott Silver has is he co-wrote The Fighter with I think like 2 other writers.
Which is a decent movie.
I think I saw it when it came out in like 2010.
Yeah.
Or around the time whenever it got like a DVD release. I think Blockbuster was still around and my mom rented it.
I think it was, yeah. I think I remember renting it from Blockbuster, actually.
Because there was like a Blockbuster right down the street from my mom's house.
Yeah.
It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, and Zazie Beetz of Atlanta fame, also Deadpool 2 fame.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's getting work. Also, whatever his name is, Paperboy.
Paperboy's in it,
yeah. I can't remember.
It's the weirdest episode of Atlanta I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's no Childish Gambino unless he's doing whiteface again.
Like he's method acting as Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh my god.
Joaquin Phoenix in this film has like very distinct facial symmetry. Symmetry. I don't know. Symmetry. Yeah. So maybe he could have like put on a weird prosthetic. He could do what's his name? He can do anyone.
Yeah.
The fake Michael Jackson, not Michael Jackson.
Joaquin Phoenix is one of those actors where like he's really, really talented, but I can never not see him as just Joaquin Phoenix playing a character. It's like him and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like they're both insanely talented actors, but I only see the actor playing a character really well.
Yeah. It's produced by Todd Phillips, Bradley Cooper, and Emmer Tilliner Koskoff, and it also, I think, executive produced by Martin
Scorsese, who says Marvel movies aren't cinema.
Why is this news? Why has that been like the big debate?
I don't know.
Like the only decent thing I've seen about that, like it's been people have been like, yeah, he's fucking right, and other people are like, no, he's fucking wrong. Like the only decent argument I've seen about this is like, who does Guardians? I can't remember his name.
Fuck. I'm not blanking on his name.
Did Guardians, he did the one with the worms.
Yeah, he did the one where Dwight dresses up as a superhero and beats people with a wrench. James Gunn.
James Gunn. I don't know, I couldn't think of his name.
I couldn't think of it either.
He was like, yeah, some people just don't get it. It's like,
yeah,
that's like the only decent
And
argument.
did you
I've
see that
seen.
like Francis Ford Coppola? Was
Here's the thing. I thought Francis Ford Coppola has been dead for
no,
years.
his career has been. He is still alive.
I swear, like I thought
the exact moment I saw that, my first thought was, Coppola, you haven't made a good movie in decades. You have no room to say anything.
no, because I swear I thought what's the one with Rob Williams? Jack?
Yeah.
I thought that was his last film.
It should have been, because it should have completely killed his career.
Is it that bad?
It's very bad.
Okay.
It's terrible.
I wouldn't assume it'd be that bad.
And then ever since then, he's just making schlock and terrible things ever since.
I-
Here's the thing. His best films, The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, are the things he likes the least because he specifically made those for paychecks so that he could make things like Jack.
Yeah.
That's the sad fate about Francis Ford Coppola. When he actually cares about a project deeply, it sucks. When he's like making something for a paycheck, it's one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, wasn't Apocalypse Now just like a huge disaster?
Yeah, it was.
And then
it's a
they
fucking
came out-
like masterpiece.
Yeah, they came out with
his like super long director's cut, and it's terrible.
no, what's the documentary?
It's like just something about Apocalypse Now. Whatever. It's a documentary about Apocalypse Now to showcase how much of a disaster it was.
Yeah. Why is
It's
this
still like a
why,
fucking amazing movie.
Why is this important?
It's once again another attempt of comic book movies to push themselves into the realm of higher art by copying films that we already think are good.
Yeah, there's
like-
that. But I was also saying this is probably one of the best origin story films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Let's look at the origin story films that we have that are like actually decent.
I'm talking about DC and Marvel.
Oh, well, let's
So,
then
like-
look at all the
Because
origin...
I'm thinking like just as like like an origin story, this is probably one of the best because
Yeah.
it's just standalone.
Yeah.
It feels just like one thing.
It's certainly better than X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, because I think some of the other just like standalone origin stories, like Iron Man 1
Or Batman Begins. They're okay.
they're okay.
They don't do anything special.
They're meant to be like bigger things, and
Yeah.
Iron Man was meant to be like a bigger thing for the MCU, where Batman was just for the Dark Knight Rises
In Dark Knight.
or Dark Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Batman Begins is still like a good standalone film, but it's clearly just setting things up for
Yeah.
other things.
I can't think of anything that like Guardians probably.
But that's not even really an origin story.
It
like,
is because it, like I think I'm the way I'm
it's
thinking.
the origin of the team, but like all the individual people are like already pretty well set. Spider-Man 1's a pretty good origin
Yeah,
story
that
if you
one.
like camp.
That's like set up for the
Yeah.
same level as like Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think none of the ones that like really stand out to me.
both Hulks are terrible.
Yeah. I have a weird appreciation
There's
for the
Punisher
Ang Lee
movie.
one.
There's Punisher.
I've never seen that.
It's bad.
Who's the Punisher? There's-
That's Thomas Jane, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the villain. Just guess the villain.
I don't remember.
I want you to guess.
I think I saw this film when I was in first grade and I thought it was really fucking stupid.
Just guess.
I don't remember.
John Travolta.
I thought John Travolta was like the Punisher. I don't know.
No, John Travolta's the villain in The Punisher.
All
Which is
I-
hilarious because, like, in Face Off, John Travolta's, like, entire character motivation is basically the exact same thing as the Punisher. It's like, this villain killed my family. I must have revenge. And it's like, that's just the whole Punisher.
They're making a Face Off sequel. You know that?
Are they?
A remake or sequel?
If it's if literally the only reason Face Off is worth paying attention to
'Cause it's shit.
is
It's-
because
it's-
it's like a beautiful disaster.
Yeah.
Because you have Nicolas Cage and John Travolta with each one having to act like the other one. You have John Travolta having to act like Nicolas Cage, acting like John Travolta.
It's like just two high spectacle artists just not giving a fuck.
With directed by John Woo, the ultimate director of not giving a fuck, and also here's some fucking dubs.
You ready to get into the Wikipedia summary? Do you know what Wikipedia is, Jonathan?
Yes, can we stop with the
Wikipedia
intro?
is an internet encyclopedia. It's
It would save so much time.
It's a common source of the American people, and you can research anything you want to, and you can even look up movies and read their entire plot summaries and act like you have seen the movie when reality you haven't.
Can we hurry this up?
That's it.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to the Wikipedia plot summary.
Okay,
And we're
fuck.
pretending to see like we've seen this movie, but we actually haven't.
Oh, you didn't see this movie?
Yeah, I shut my eyes the entire time.
Oh, was it too scary?
Yeah, it's because he wasn't.
He wasn't Pennywise.
No, what it was is he wasn't. What is it? He wasn't moral.
I feel like I'm missing a page.
Are you?
Oh, nope, there it is. It's just stuck. There we go.
Ready to get into the Wikipedia summary?
Sure.
In 1981, party clown and aspiring stand-up comedian Arthur Fleck lives with his mother, Penny, in Gotham City.
First question, why did this have to be set in 81?
I thought it was set in the 70s.
I mean, like, it's very clearly, like, 70s culture runoff. Like, what real purpose did it have for being set in 81, plot-wise?
I think because people don't watch television in 2019.
That's probably it.
Also, I think
But you could have just translated that to, like, a Jimmy Kimmel, like, skit on YouTube. Type of shit.
No, I think they should have done, what's his name? Who's the other one? Other Jimmy.
Fallon?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon, and then he just shoots Jimmy Fallon in the face. Not for making fun of him, just because Jimmy Fallon sucks.
Is he the one that does the mean tweets?
No, that's Jimmy Kimmel.
So Jimmy Fallon's Jimmy Kimmel, not only because when he comes on, he makes him read a bunch of mean tweets. Like, you just brought me on here to make fun of me. Bam!
I think this would have been like, so it's like the meme aspect of this, if it took place
in 2019,
it would have just been the shittiest fucking film, probably.
Probably.
Because I feel like there would have been like so much like
meme shit.
Attempt to like cultivate like modern technology and modern culture into it.
Maybe.
When in this, you can just do a Scorsese film.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and part of the like setting almost feels like it's just because that's when the two films it's taking like the most inspiration from are set. It doesn't feel like an artistic choice when you do it that way. It just feels like I watched these movies, I'm gonna make these movies again type of decision.
Yeah. Also, maybe I'm thinking, so Bruce Wayne's like 6 in this.
Yeah.
So,
but like
he doesn't. He usually becomes Batman like 30s.
In his 20s.
No, I think like early 30s.
It depends on the origin.
Because like Christian Bale's pretty.
Yeah,
30s.
but that's in that movie. But like in most origins, he like becomes Batman like from 25, I think.
Really, I think
Yeah.
that's too early. I think
because like he starts basically his like major training when he's like a teenager.
Okay. Because I always see it of like he just fucks around until he is 18 and then he goes and runs off like. Depending on the origin
I mean,
story.
in the original origin story, he literally, like, the moment his parents are dead, is like, fuck it, I'm Batman. Let's get started on the training. He's like, what's this? My parents are dead. Better go become a master chemist and start learning martial arts. Fuck grief.
Isn't that the original Batman? Isn't that the one where he just, like, straight up kills people?
Yeah.
Like, it's like...
Literally, he's introduced and it's like, hi, I'm Batman. Throws a guy off a building, shoots another guy. He's like, oh, you're a cop? Fuck you. Kicks him off a building.
So the Batman versus Superman Batman.
Basically. See, everybody shits on Zack Snyder for not understanding Batman. He just hasn't read a comic since the 40s.
Yeah. That would explain why Superman's so fucking boring.
Yeah. It explains a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He hasn't read a comic since the 40s. He had everybody just give him a brief explanation for every character he wasn't aware of yet.
Yeah. Gotham is rife with crime and unemployment, leaving segments of population disenfranchised and impoverished. Arthur suffers from a disorder that causes him to laugh at inappropriate times and depends on social services for medication. After a gang attacks him in an alley, Arthur's co-worker Randall lends him a gun. Arthur invites his neighbor, single mother Sophie, to his stand-up comedy show, and they begin dating. That's a lot. So kind of go over this. The scene where the kids beat him up, take a sign. One is fucking hilarious because I'm a sick fuck. I like a quick fuck.
Such a
Don't even that reference is that. But like I think it's just like so humiliating, and it sets up this kind of like downward spiral for him. Two, I think the segments with his like counselor, his social service advisor. They're so fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it sets, I think the biggest thing is
the
that
only
it sets
thing
up,
that it really sets up is that when they stop being able to see each other, he no longer can get his meds. That's like the only thing that sets up. And it introduces the journal. But here's the thing. A lot of people have journals without being told to have one by their counselor. They just have journals.
Also, he's a stand-up comedian, so he can also use it as a joke book.
Yeah.
He brings that up.
He even says, like, I'm using this as a joke book. It's like,
But also some of the ideas in the journal are some of the most Tumblr fucking esque ideas. The worst part about living with mental illness is people expect you to live as you don't.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like that's like Tumblr quote. That's like basic ass motivational poster. Like that doesn't.
That's
that.
You're not saying anything fucking new.
And people are like, "Oh, this fucking great quote," and I'm like, "No, we shouldn't have this because like that's like a good quote." Well, it's like it's a cheesy ass quote, but it's like it has at least a good idea. And Joker's not a good person.
Yeah.
Like he's a very confused person, and there's reasons why he's troubled. But also, like he shouldn't really, at the end of this, have any morals.
Yeah.
Or any like likable things about him.
And like they kind of do that when he's like explaining that he doesn't believe in anything. It's kind of this film's weird. It's hard to always tell exactly what it's critiquing. There's obviously it's critiquing like how we treat people with mental illnesses. There's critiques of like both sides of the political spectrum. I think it's a little harsher towards right wing politics than
I
left
think it's actually pretty even because like if you look up, it sets up left wing activists as they follow the Joker.
Except like their thing is like, do they? Because like there's a lot of ambiguity because like they don't start doing their protests until Thomas Wayne calls them all clowns.
Yeah,
and compares them to him, and that's when their protests start.
The way I view it is it sets,
and then like the ending is like probably in his head where they all start worshiping him. Like that's definitely like in his head and fake. Like because it's a straight out of Taxi Driver move where like you set up this like over the top like the main character gets everything they want, but they're clearly not actually.
I think
real.
I don't see the ending of this as like in his head.
It has to be.
Because like I
immediately
think,
cuts to him in the thing.
Because
like his comment is like, I was just thinking of a joke.
Because even if something like this did happen in real life, like he wouldn't be like worshipped the way he was, but they would like go up to him and surround him like a crowd because he's a fucking meme.
Yeah, but like I don't think like his actions have actually caused a riot like that.
No, I don't think the actions caused the riot, but I feel like he's a symbol of the riot.
I don't think so. I know like. Very few people in the protest like actually acknowledge like the original murder.
Yeah.
It's always like we're all clowns in response to Thomas like Wayne. Most of the protests have very little to do with him.
I don't think it has to do with him. I think
like,
they use him as a symbol, and it's bringing up the idea of like these figures are all bullshit, and it also goes into Martin Wayne. What's his name?
Who?
The Bruce Wayne's dad. Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne.
I said it like 5 times.
I can't remember. I will honestly forget after this.
Probably.
Because he's not important. His major role is to be shitty and die.
Yeah.
And he did both of those in this film. But like Thomas Wayne is just a shithead. And he's stupid. And like he's the spectrum for the right. Spectrum for the left is like at least there's an idea. It's Joker.
I don't think so. Because he says he doesn't believe in anything.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Just because he doesn't believe doesn't mean he actually becomes a symbol.
I don't think he does, though. I'm pretty sure the ending is supposed to be like ambiguous as to if it's in its head or not, and I don't think it is, because like, it's too perfect to what he wants everything to be, and like in the end you see like him's like mental breakdowns or like everything that's in his head is the things are like exactly how he wants things to go, like the relationship with the girl, which isn't real. And, like, all of these things, like, it's always in his head whenever things are actually going his way. And, like, it's
But that would also, I think, also at the same time, it would have to be, I think, the killing of the talk show host. That would also have to be in his head.
I think that part.
Because I think those two are attached.
I think that part's real, but, like, it's not, though. Because, like, at the end where, like, it shows, like, he kills him and it's the TV, like, it's then, like, quickly, like, overlooked by a bunch of shitty, like, other things on TV and commercials. Like, it's not even really that newsworthy.
Yeah.
Which, if it wasn't that newsworthy, it's not going to spark a riot. It's just overlooked bullshit. Like everything that he did. And so I don't think the riot's real. I think the riot and, like, his, like, escape and, like, all of this shit and people, like, rallying around him is just all his, like, idealized fantasy of, like, imagining his life actually becomes to amount to something. Because, like, that's what happens in, like, Taxi Driver. Is, like, he goes on this, like, insane, like, murder spree. And then, like, everybody hails him as a hero because he did one good thing for out killing a fuck ton of people. And then, like, his life turns out, like, perfect and everybody thinks he's good and he gets the girl again. Mm-hmm. It's all in his head, clearly, because it's too perfect of an ending for him. And he's, like, not going to get that realistically.
And then also at the same time, I think the ending kind of implies that It is.
No, because at the very end, like it smash cuts to him like into his new like social worker, and she's like, "What are you smiling about?" And he was like, "I was just thinking of a joke."
Yeah.
And like that whole thing is like his jokes. He refers to other like Vincent's like memories of like fake things as jokes.
You kind of have a point, but I also feel like whatever it is, like there's also talks about like how potentially this is gonna have a sequel. I think if there is,
It shouldn't.
I don't think it should, but if there is, they're gonna the ending, even if it's implied that it isn't, it is.
Yeah, if
'Cause
they
they
have a sequel, they're gonna remove all ambiguity the same way they did a Blade Runner, which is the only complaint I have about the Blade Runner sequels, that it removed the ambiguity.
I still kind of think so. Because like
I don't.
I think it's because also why
Having watched it,
I think why because it's like he has to become the Joker.
I don't think he does. This is like they even like
Because like there's some segments I knew from the start that like they weren't real. Like his relationship with Zazie Beetz is not real.
yeah.
It's like that's very obvious because there's no momentum. His first conversation with the talk show host, obviously not real. But this is just like, I think it fits too many into any of the themes that they have. I think because he does get caught in the end.
But like we don't see him get caught. And like here's the thing, like every time and like all of his like fantasy segments, whenever like the first one where he's like in the talk show and like everybody's giving like applause and praise, like that's how his fantasies always work, is it's always him somehow becoming like a center of attention and praise, because that's all he wants, is to feel relevant and seen. And then like you can't, and like the cut with the TV or like all the images are just like overwhelming his own like actions, and he's disappearing, and then like the smashing, he was like, oh, all riots are all because of him, and he's this grand figure. It's too contrary to A, how reality works, and B, like it's too perfect for him.
I still think so. I honestly, I think the way this is making money, some form of spinoff from this world, regardless of whether it's this Joker, future Joker, like something, or just like the Batman from this Joker is going to spin off.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
feel like, and when it does, I feel like the ambiguity of the end. But like, I still don't see it because I feel like he has to become the Joker in a sense.
Because like they even said like when they're like planning and talking about this film that like this is this was supposed to kick off a new franchise of DC that made standalone, separate from everything films.
So let me rephrase you, DC.
Yeah,
and they don't.
They fuck up everything. That was the idea behind it, was that this is supposed to be a singular, separate thing. So he doesn't have to become the Joker because this doesn't have to tie into anything. This can be like an Elseworld storyline where things begin and end in a single plot line and nothing carries over into anything new.
Yeah.
Which means we could get Batman Dracula, where Batman becomes a vampire. It goes on a murder.
Was that the animated one?
No, there's an actual comic where Batman becomes a vampire. And
You're talking about Batman becomes a vampire. I thought you were saying Batman versus Dracula.
Well, that's how that one starts, is he fights Dracula and then Dracula bites him.
No, I'm pretty sure there's an animated movie too. Where
there is, from the Batman. That one's terrible. We don't talk about that, or the TV show, because that TV show is awful, also garbage.
So he gets the gun from his coworker Randall, and he's just a shithead. Like I like the setup that antagonist. I think it's really smart. One, because it sets up someone who's a shithead who gets their comeuppance, but also at the same time it puts the idea of like morals. How it's still fucked up, but like it's a nice moment where you think they get their just desserts, even though it's completely terrible. At least in like. It's kind of where the writing of this hero. He's not moral. You should not, like... It's the Tyler Durden effect. Like, I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the Joker's apolitical, so I think I should be apolitical. And we're going to get a lot of these shitty frat boy heads.
Yeah.
Shitty frat boys that don't understand the film.
It's the Alex DeLarge, Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Arthur Fleck effect.
Yeah, where literally... you shouldn't be wanting to be Joker.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can... not root for him in scenarios.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you still feel bad for the guy.
It's one of those fans, like, he's a net negative, like, morality, but, like, nobody is, like, truly, like, a true full evil.
Yeah.
There's, like, always like some decency within like every like aspect. And I know like in the comics the Joker's supposed to be like the embodiment of evil and chaos and horrible actions and shit like that. But like every like origin highlights the fact that like he had to become that, which means he wasn't born that way.
Yeah. One thing I like about this Joker is stupid.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
And it's like a lot of luck.
Which is why I think like he shouldn't be the actual Joker, because the Joker's very fucking smart. He has no concern about his well-being, which makes him like do things that most people would consider stupid, but like only in terms of like the idea of self-preservation. Without that, like everything that he does is like very thought out and methodical in order to create as much chaos and insanity as possible.
Yeah.
This Joker could never do that. Which is why, again, I think the ending is ambiguous, because like
I'm thinking of like Arkham Joker, maybe, but like even Arkham Joker's pretty smart. Arkham game Joker,
he's really.
But like,
there's like no dumb Joker except for this one.
But like comparing this to Dark Knight Joker, Dark Knight Joker is like completely different, because he's like there's rumors like he's like ex-military, and it's like it's explained by how he gets the uniforms and stuff like that, and how he's able to hold a gun. But like. Joker also...
I'm not from the military. I actively dislike guns. I still know how to hold a fucking rifle because I'm not stupid.
No, but it's like there's that, and it's also like the uniform. Like there's another point I can't recall off the top of my head to that theory.
There's like the whole like comment about like a truck of shoulders gets blown away and no one cares.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of like, and how like militarily he holds a fucking RPG like a boss. So like that's something I wouldn't know how to do because I don't have military training.
So maybe this is 60s Joker.
Yeah, this is Cesar Romero Joker. This is the Joker. Fuck, you don't have it. This is fucking Boner Joker. Have you seen that comic where it was like, Batman made a boner out of me? Like, I'll show him a boner. It's that Joker.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like how could he like evolve? Like if this Joker could he evolve into something?
I don't think so.
I think in like a weird way, maybe he could.
Yeah.
So, like, because he has pretty decent luck in this.
Yeah, but like, it's this weird.
And when you're lucky, you bet all on black.
Yeah. And like that's part of also why I think like the ending is like not real, because like that would be like a smart Joker ending where he orchestrates to create as much chaos as possible. He's not smart enough to
because like he doesn't have anything to do with the riots, but I feel like he's still a symbol.
He's only a symbol in that like Thomas Wayne made him a symbol by calling everyone like impoverished a clown, and literally if he wasn't dressed like a clown, that it wouldn't have mattered. Like he's not a symbol to them because he does anything. He's a symbol to them because he was dressed as a clown in that moment. And Thomas Wayne called poor clowns.
Same way like anonymous figures
use V for Vendetta as a thing.
Yeah,
without actually understanding that Guy Fawkes was like a super not anarchist. He believed in the church taking over everything. Anarchy. Just put the church in charge.
Let's consider this a little bit more. While entertaining at children's hospital, Arthur's gun falls out of his pocket.
That scene is like so well done. It like has the perfect mixture of like tension and comedy and like.
That's something smart Joker would do. Like, as a joke.
As a joke, but this is dumb Joker, so he does it by accident.
So maybe smart Joker is just dumb Joker all along.
Maybe.
But he's just really fucking lucky. And he's just like, he takes some like improv classes and begins like...
He just learns how to run a fit. It's like, yes. It's like what we were taught in film, like there are no accidents. You just run with everything.
He just doesn't say no. He's Jim Carrey, yes man.
Yes, he was like... Joker, I can't believe you had this planned all along. I was like, yes, plan.
Because, like, if you look at the fucking, like, Arkham game, Joker's idea is to keep Batman, someone who could foil all of his plans, on the island with him, even though he's, like, kind of counterproducing him with other things.
Yeah.
While he tries to figure out how the fuck the super formula that's still experimental fucking works. Because he's not a bioengineer. He's just hoping it works.
He actually is a biochemist.
Not in the games.
Yeah, he is.
In the games, he is?
Yeah, because he's still the same Joker that created his own, like, toxin symbols, like, or formulas. Like, here's the thing that nobody, like, wants, like, everybody talks about Joker, like, oh, Joker's not that smart, he's just really methodical. Like, no, Joker's, like, an expert biochemist who designs all of his, like, chemical weaponry. himself.
Yeah, because he does have the Joker gas,
Yeah.
but like I don't think he's smart enough to figure out how fucking Titan worked. Because even the person who was working on Titan didn't fucking understand it.
Which is why he also doesn't give enough of a shit to make it perfect. That's why he just goes and injects itself in like this grandiose thing where he shoots into his own fucking face.
That's pretty dumb Joker idea.
That's non-self-preservation concern. I just want to watch the world burn Joker.
Yeah.
Which is Joker. Comic Joker, at least, not this movie Joker.
On the subway, still in clown makeup, Arthur's beaten up by 3 drunken Wayne Enterprise businessmen. He shoots 2 of them, who are bullying a female. I think like they're trying to get her to eat French fries, so he like throws French fries.
They're harassing the woman.
Joker starts laughing uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And they beat him up a little bit. He shoots 2 of them in self-defense and executes the third. I don't think 2 of them in self-defense. I think once you shoot 1 of them, that's like...
The first one, yeah, kind of self-defense. After the other guy backed up and then you shot him, that was less self-defense. That was more just, fuck you. You could chalk that up a little bit, the heat of the moment, manslaughter.
Yeah.
But you've got 1 self-defense, 1 manslaughter, 1 just straight up
Also,
homicide.
if you like shoot him in the head, it's not self-defense. That is murder.
Yeah, the last guy is straight up homicide. The first guy, like, that's just a good self-defense shot. You know, he's beating you, you pull out your gun, you shoot, you hit him in the head. I don't think he was like aiming for his head directly. So that's self-defense. You know. The second one, after he backs off and you're like, fuck you, you shoot him again, that's manslaughter. You could chalk it up to like still like in the heat of the moment type of thing. And then the last one where you hunt him down and shoot him repeatedly, that's just fucking homicide.
The murders are condemned by billionaire mayoral candidate Thomas Wayne, who labels these evidence of more successful people as clowns.
Which is this is the only like film so far to have like done the thing that a lot of like recent Batman comics have been doing, which is to basically go, hey, Thomas Wayne was kind of an asshole.
The Telltale games, I never finished them, but like I don't know if they like redeemed him anyway. He was a shithead.
And then there's like a ton of like a lot of the more recent Batman comics have been like doing this thing like Thomas Wayne like was a lot shadier than people realize.
I think it's smarter.
Yeah.
I think that's way more interesting. Because like it gives them more depth than just being shitty, and it also
in the
gives,
modern
like,
world where all rich people are assholes, it's not as far fetched anymore. It makes a lot more sense that way.
Yeah.
To make him kind of a piece of shit too, and then almost in a way it makes Batman more honorable because like he's now the product of like a bad rich person who's not mentally well. Batman in the comics is not mentally well at all.
Yeah.
And he's using like his brokenness.
Well,
and
like
his
Batman,
resources.
like any of the films is not mentally well.
60s. I don't know that dance though.
I don't think anyone in the 60s was mentally well.
Too many drugs.
I think were just like brain dead at that point.
So like it makes Batman like, yeah, he's still shitty because he's still like, you know, beating up the other mentally ill, but like he's at least trying, I guess, with his brokenness and how he was raised by a shithead. He's doing his best, I guess.
And it's best when he doesn't, like in the Telltale games, like he's Batman for like a little bit, and then he like finds out. It's not best to like find out at the beginning. Then he's like shithead. It's like a nice.
It's a character building moment. That's good.
Because like with the Telltale games, spoiler, even though it was like the first episode, it's discovered like he was in bed with like a huge gangster.
The Falcones.
Yeah, Falcones. Yeah.
I clearly really like Batman.
Demonstrations against Gotham's Rich began with protesters downing clown mask and Arthur's image. Funding cuts shuttered the social service program, leaving Arthur without medication. It's an interesting arc. I think it's very important, but I also feel like there's a way to like set this up without being it just so like basic.
Yeah.
Because like even when like the social service worker, like Arthur says shit that like wouldn't get him in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Regardless, he says like all I have is negative thoughts. He would have been like they would have convicted him to a hospital because that's how real world works. Like you don't fuck around. And if there's a chance for a hospital to make money, they're going to make that money.
Yeah, I know like it was not as great back in the 80s, but I don't think it was that
bad. Yeah. Funding cuts shuttered the social.
But there's also a thing I saw a video about where someone's like asking, like questioning like how much of even what he was saying to her was like real or just things he was saying to himself in his brain, because she doesn't react to most of the things he says, which she clearly like cares based on how she was acting when she told him that was closed down, but like a lot of the things that he says she doesn't react to in the way that the way she cares would suggest that she would.
Also, like that end note of her is like, they don't give a fuck about you, Arthur.
Yeah.
It's also just like, it's like that could be like inside his head, but also like I don't think it is.
I'm not saying anything she says is inside his head. I'm saying some of the things that he says to her is like him saying it to himself, but not directly. Because like
I kind of feel like
I did that when I was in counseling. There's things I didn't say to my counselor.
I think there's also a theory that like these can all be inside their head, because there's like she doesn't really have any effect on the outside world. I don't think it is. I think there's possibility, but like also it doesn't really matter. I think these segments more set up. Like
they set up other scenes. They don't really stand on their own very well.
Yeah,
that line like they don't give a fuck about you, Arthur. I was like, yeah, I got that from when they got rid of all of the funding. You didn't have to just come right out and just say it. It's you already showed and didn't tell, and then you told me anyways.
Arthur's comedy show goes poorly. He laughs uncontrollably, has difficulty delivering his jokes.
But then he imagines everybody's laughing and like going along with it, and, like his jokes are like landing, because again, whenever people have good reactions to him, it's in his head, because the video later shows that never happened.
I thought they were ironically laughing.
No, like eventually, like he starts making jokes and they start like reacting and like genuinely laughing to it.
Oh, I thought at the end they were just ironically laughing at him. Like,
and also the lights go different. Like
I didn't notice that. No. It does. That also doesn't really affect much.
It doesn't affect much. Just it kind of builds to the whole like things in his head whenever things are going well.
Yeah. Talk show host Murray Franklin mocks Arthur by showing clips from the routine on his show. I told you this while we were watching the film. This doesn't make any fucking sense because we don't live in the internet era. It could happen, but also like unless this comedy club has an established relationship with the show.
When he was doing the show, there was it showed on a CCTV.
It did,
camera.
so like it makes sense that it could be recorded,
and
but
like it was a local show. Like I feel like that's kind of a thing.
If it's on
definitely
like
more of a thing nowadays.
Yeah, if it's on like
if there's one thing that Ellen has taught me watching Ellen, is that we will take any opportunity we can as a people to find something, make it go viral, laugh at people, and then put them on a show.
Yeah, I think if it's on like CCTV, that I could like see it, but also at the same time, like I think this is like something even if people did watch, like they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think it would have blown up the way they acted like it
did. Yeah.
But I mean, movie has to happen somehow.
Yeah. Arthur intercepts a letter written by Penny to Thomas alleging that he is Thomas's illegitimate son, and he berates his mother for hiding the truth. At Wayne Manor, Arthur talks to Thomas's young son, Bruce, but flees after a scuffle with butler Alfred Pennyworth.
Which they never actually named, so that could be anybody.
Yeah. I don't like this portrayal of Alfred, because Alfred's like he's decent. Like this Alfred's like
Alfred in the comics is like okay. Also, another character who's been complicated by more recent like comics.
Because he's like, isn't he also like a war? Like he's like a
actual Alfred is like a world-renowned spy and like a war hero and army doctor, and it was like he's kind of a badass like to almost a level of like Batman when he was younger. Yeah. And also one of my favorite lines from like a comic is like somebody like broke into like Wayne Manor, and like Alfred like went after him with like a crowbar. And, like one of the lines is like, "My master may have qualms about killing people." It's like, I assure you, I have no such issues.
He's just Kingsman.
He's basically Kingsman, but this time he's like he's out of shape. He gets bested by Arthur Fleck of all people without a gun. And he's just kind of a shithead.
Yeah, no, because like I honestly wish this was just like random.
Yeah.
Butler.
Yeah. But again, they never actually named him as Alfred, so it could be.
Yeah, I hope it is, because like Alfred's like a badass. Like this dude's just like at least Alfred has morals.
Yeah.
And like I feel like even in the scenario of seeing like a child being like let's just say being like intercepted by this predator, he would like have some like class about it, and he wouldn't like get his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah.
He would like still protect Bruce, but he would also try to like get help for this like obviously sick person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a good Alfred.
Yeah. Following a visit from 2 Gotham City Police Department detectives investigating Arthur's involvement in the train murders, Penny suffers a stroke and is hospitalized. One thing I forgot to mention. I like the treatment of Alfred and his mom. I think it's nice. It also gives like a nice snapping period for when he just completely loses his shit.
Yeah, and kills her.
But 2, I told Jonathan when we were watching this, I said, in the 70s, DNA didn't exist yet, so you could just leave the gun at the crime scene.
Except it did. That's the fade that you're stupid about, is it did exist back then.
Even if it did, you could just leave the gun on the crime scene, and it's not his.
Yeah.
And who's the clown? The guy that gave him a gun.
Yep.
Think smarter, not harder. Or if you're Joker, just do random shit.
And it somehow works out for you.
At a public event, Arthur confronts Thomas, who tells him that Penny is delusional and not his biological mother.
And punches Arthur in the face.
The stealth, Metal Gear-like stealth that is in the scene, really nice.
Yeah, I love that Hitman moment where he just throws on a costume and nobody can tell he doesn't belong there anymore.
I wish he had green hair in that scene. Just like...
And then he's wearing his clothes underneath the clothes because he just removes it. Everybody's like, yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
This isn't a Hitman moment at
And
all.
he stands in the alleyway for the longest time. That's suspicious. Yeah. Where was I?
In denial. Just right there.
Oh, in denial. Arthur visits Arkham State Hospital and steals Penny case files from Paperboy. The file says Penny adopted Arthur as a baby and has allowed her abusive boyfriend to harm them both.
It has that great moment where he's trying to steal the file from him, and he's going on, he just smashes his head against the window to shock him and then run away.
Yeah. So maybe he is smart, Joker.
Sure.
Nothing smart like brain damage.
Exactly.
Penny alleged that Thomas used his influence to fabricate the adoption and committed her to the asylum to hide their affair. Distraught, Arthur goes to the hospital and kills Penny. He returns home. One thing this does is sets up a flashback that really didn't need to exist, but it sets up a lot of information. I understand why they did it.
Here's the thing.
It's a flashback that...
You Fight Clubbed us. Where, you already, explained everything to us, but then you go back and then you show it to us again anyways. The moment she comes in and, she, says things like, your name's Arthur, right? Don't you live down here? And, yada, 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 what are you doing here? It already establishes their relationship's fake. We already got all the information we needed. You don't need to go back and then, show every scene of them together and then remove her.
No, I think you jumped ahead. I was talking about flashback.
Oh, that flashback?
The flashback with his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Not the flashback with Zazie.
I talked to Max about this one after
I think it sets up a lot of stuff, but I just think there's...
I think
they could have came up with something
it's a
better.
time saver, because he was reading it and that was taking forever to show the lines. It goes have time to read. I think it was just a time saving.
It also would have left a little bit of ambiguity.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's still ambiguous because it's still
it still is,
because it shows him standing there, which obviously wasn't real, and he was imagining this kind of thing in his mind.
Because the scope of Thomas Wayne is huge, so it could still be true, but I think it would have been better if it wasn't. But Thomas used his influence to fabricate the adoption, committed asylum, distraught. Arthur goes to the hospital, kills Penny, returns home, and enters Sophie's apartment unannounced.
This is the thing I was
frightened. Sophie tells him to leave. The previous encounters were Arthur's delusions. We didn't need to know. We didn't need that.
We
flashback.
didn't need that flashback. We got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing everything out to me.
It was obvious when he just kissed her and she was okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding my hand and walking me through it the big dumb baby I am watching an R-rated movie.
Yeah. Arthur is invited to appear on Murray's show due to the unexpected popularity of his routine clips. As he prepares, Arthur is visited by Rando and fellow ex-colleague Gary. The setup for him setting up for the show is fantastic. Him putting in the green hair, it's just messy, gross. It's just great. Arthur murders Randall, but leaves Gary unharmed because Gary's a little person.
Yeah, but also he treated him well in the past.
Yeah.
But the scene with him and Gary, right after there, is great. Where
he jump scares him.
Yeah.
Gary has to walk past him in the hallway.
He jump scares him to just to mess with him because even though yes, he's not gonna kill him, he's still kind of an asshole now.
Also, the him killing Randall is completely brutal, and it's like one of the only like deserved deaths where it's like, yeah, that guy was an asshole.
Okay. No, I would say deserved.
It's like it's not deserved because it's still murder, and like it shouldn't.
The first 1.5 of the 2 guys he shot were like kind of deserved.
But like it's still that he like didn't like wound them like how you should do in self-defense. He just killed them.
Again, the first one I'm chalking up to him like accidentally shooting him in the head and just like a panic like sudden shoot. I don't think he was like actively like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot this fucker right in his stupid face. I don't think that was the plan.
Was a great moment of Gary walking by. He's too short for the top lock. And that dread of like, oh, Joker's gonna kill him.
And then he like kisses him on the forehead. And
he's like, you treated me nice. Then he goes. And it's just like that's like smart Joker-esque.
Yeah.
So maybe he is smart Joker.
Maybe.
And maybe smart Joker has just been lucky the entire time.
Maybe.
You can learn biochemistry, but he just got a book from the library.
Yeah, he just understood it.
Well, if you could figure out how to make napalm online, probably figure out how to make laughing gas.
Sorry, what?
What?
Did you hear what I said? You could figure out how to make napalm. I was like, it's not that hard.
I knew someone who like after 8th grade they wanted to burn all their like homework and stuff. And they did it with napalm.
Oh my god!
They got in trouble.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my gosh. I don't keep up with that person anymore.
I don't blame you.
What detective? Oh wait, I jumped ahead. En route to the studio, Arthur is pursued by 2 detectives on a train filled with clown protesters. Also, the scene afterwards where he's dancing on the staircase. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
It was turned into a meme undeservedly. It's actually
it
kind of deservedly, but still a really good moment.
Because I think it says more about modern day society. It's like good shit gets turned into memes.
Yeah.
Regardless, one detective accidentally shoots a protester. This whole entire sequence of going through a train. Wasn't there like a Harrison Ford movie that kind of does?
There's a lot of movies that does this.
Yeah,
like a lot. So many.
Not to this scale. Like usually there's like runs through trains. I don't remember one that was like this dense.
There was
but also in this one you got the clown mask and it's like hard to tell who's who.
Max wanted me to talk about how like Max thought that scene was like really good, especially the following scene where they're talking about like the media and like it doesn't say anything about the cop shooting somebody and then being like deservedly like attacked.
Yeah,
it's when we're just 2 cops are brutally attacked.
Also,
this film does like a really good job of like demonizing how the media portrays specific things.
Yeah. One thing I don't understand is how those cops lived. Because, like, they're getting the shit kicked out of them. Like, and there's a lot of people. Like,
and that's another reason why I think, like, the riots aren't real. Because everything else that, like, the rioters did was reactionary and contained, like, to a degree. Like, if they were the same people who would have done the riot at the end, they would just fucking kill those cops.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Like, but like everything was done in reaction to Wayne's comments. They reacted to they didn't immediately like attack the cops. Like they reacted to them shooting.
Maybe he's just bringing out the crazies. Because like Joker has his goons.
Yeah, but like
maybe he just found his people. His terrorists.
I'm pretty sure the ending isn't real with the riot.
It's gonna become real regardless.
It's going to become real if they make a fucking sequel, which they shouldn't. But right now,
a sequel directed by,
as this film is, it's not real.
Not ready for the Zack Snyder sequel.
I'm not ready for Zack Snyder to make a movie ever again in his life, to be honest.
Before the show goes live, Arthur requests that Murray introduce him as the Joker, a reference to Murray's previous mockery. Arthur walks out to a warm perception. His entrance is amazing. Another great moment. He has what is it? Not the aneurysms. The emotions of the Joker down.
Yeah.
Mannerisms.
Is that the word you're looking for?
Yeah.
He has the aneurysms of the Joker down. He just like
he does do the
just brain aneurysm, fall over, collapse, dead, just like the Joker does.
Admits he killed. Arthur walks out of a warm structure, but he tells morbid jokes. Admits he killed the men on the train and rants about how society abandons the disenfranchised. I liked I like that Murray was just such like a shithead.
Yeah.
Like I think because he would just be a stooge of Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
I,
100%.
I think that he fits that role, and having Robert De Niro in that is good. Like I don't know. I think it's also just like good that there's just an old bastard doing it too.
Yeah.
Just someone really rigid.
Yeah.
It's like something who also like someone who
There's an old bastard playing a really good old bastard.
yeah. After calling out Murray for mocking him, Arthur kills him, and that scene is, ugh. Just like that one shot. It's, I think probably, like one of the best like just gunshots I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The way it just is angled and shot really well. And is arrested as riots break across Gotham. One riot corners Wayne family in an alley and murders them. Thomas and his wife Martha, sparing a traumatized Bruce. Rioters and ambulance crash into the police car carrying Arthur and free him. He dances to the crowd, cheers of the crowd. One problem I have. Okay, so one thing about the riots, that Bruce and Thomas and Martha get killed.
Yeah, but I don't think that did. Because again, I don't think this movie is supposed to tie into anything. That's the original plan of it. And like,
so do they not die?
Even specifically when he says like I'm thinking of a joke, and then cuts back to like Bruce in this like super stylized frame that like makes no goddamn sense as a realistic frame. It makes sense as like a figment of his imagination frame. But like I don't think it's like a real like thing. I think he was imagining like this like perfect ending to his like existence with Thomas.
Yeah. At Arkham, Arthur laughs to himself and tells his psychiatrist she would not understand the joke. He runs from the orderlies, leaving a trail of bloody footprints.
So his psychiatrist is probably dead.
Yeah, I kind of... This is probably too stupid. Kind of wish it was Harley. I wish they did.
I don't. I'm really glad they didn't.
Like a very undertone of it.
No.
Not to the report she's like enthralled by him. No, you're not dying it.
No.
I like how the
introducing Harley throws too much shit into this film that
because it doesn't have to be like what's your name Harley. It's more like just a name tag.
No.
I think
no because
this leaves too many questions.
Not really. He killed his fucking psychiatrist.
Yeah, but it's also like what like he would be killed. Like I'm assume because
no, he wouldn't. He's in a mental hospital.
Like, are they just gonna let him kill more people at some point?
No, but like they'll start sedating him heavier. That's how like it's like if you attack somebody in a psych ward, they don't immediately like
also
if you attack somebody in a fucking prison, you usually don't get killed. You get like sent to solitary.
Also, another thing, why isn't he handcuffed?
I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't fucking know.
Somebody's weird.
I don't fucking know. All right,
because like that would seem like
yeah, he probably
this man killed people very close up
with guns.
No. Who he killed someone in his apartment?
Oh yeah, but he stabbed him.
After he stabbed him, then he slammed his head against the wood frame.
Well, that's a lot easier to do after you stab somebody in the neck. It's not like they're fighting back anymore.
You ready to get in Google reviews?
Sure.
Okay. So there's been a lot of praise, like frat bro praise of people who don't really understand this movie.
But there's also been
no. Let me finish. Okay. I'm not finished. And it's like society this, society that. And there's been a lot of memes about people who don't really explain why this movie's good. I think we explain why the movie's good. Now I want to look at the other side of this. People who fucking hate this movie. Because like that's kind of been like the issue of our character's supposed to be moral. Like the main characters of film supposed to be moral. We've heard some arguments of that, but not people who just hate this fucking movie. So I want to get some like bad reviews on the other side of the spectrum. People who think this is just bad.
Yeah.
You ready? The first one's from Don Nielsen. It's a downvote, and it says Joaquin Phoenix did a good job, but I had a 16-year-old point out you could tell they filmed the movie out of sequence by his weight.
All movies are filmed out of sequence, you fuckhead.
Oh, one thing I forgot to bring up. We'll get to that in the summary.
A movie being filmed in sequence is like a big deal because movies are typically filmed out of sequence because, you know, availability of like locations, actors, lighting.
No, all movies are shot in sequence.
Like, They filmed the movie out of sequence, therefore downvote. Well, you're gonna have to downvote the vast majority of films that have ever been made.
I miss the comic book feel. I go to see comic book movies for the color and feel of the comic book story. This is gritty, but it still has color to it.
Yeah, you went to a fucking Batman movie. Have you read a Batman comic?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of color because it's at night most of the time, so like there's a lot of fucking like blacks and grays and browns.
Yeah.
It's a fucking Batman comic. I'm sorry that he didn't wear his suit with the nice little yellow symbol on his chest that made him a nice little target in the middle of the night. Sorry that didn't happen for you. But also he didn't wear the suit at all.
And an escape into that story. Instead, I had to watch a diatribe about current issues that would bring me more angst about issues I already care a great deal about.
Fun fact, comics have always had political issues as a part of them.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, the video game. Big issue is you can't deliver the pizzas in time. There's just too many people ordering pizza.
I wasn't saying that. Spider-Man has always had a nice critique of the media.
Yeah.
The X-Men have always, since the very beginning, been a metaphor for both like civil rights and gay rights. Always have. Like,
no, really?
yeah, no shit. So like to say like I came to this comic book movie to escape the issues of the real world, like that's not something comics have always touched on, is real world issues. There's a reason that every time we have a fucking shitty ass president, they make a fucking villain a president in the comic book. It's called metaphors. It's called fucking analogies. It's called fucking having a point besides just nonsense.
Okay, Mr.
And
Edgelord.
again,
Edgelord, calm down, Mr. Edgelord.
this is a Batman movie. Read a Batman comic. There's not a lot of color, unless we're talking about the Riddler. That's just a lot of green.
Let's move forward. This is already plus an hour. Then I felt like I was being sold that a clown mask and violence was a glorious solution. That's not the solution. And if you think that's the solution, you're one of the terrorists at the end.
Yeah, and also
You're a terrorist.
You're a terrorist. Also, you apparently, in your desire to get a comic book feel, forgot that the Joker was the villain. Since apparently you're such a comic book purist.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
No, I think Joker's the hero in this.
Oh, is he? Is that what you think? You think the Joker's the hero? Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah. I've been defending why in the subway he was so justified to kill everyone.
Yep.
It wasn't just like completely how you don't do self-defense by shooting in the face.
Yeah.
Even had me laughing as he murders a social worker. Yeah, that's not the one where I think it's just like...
That wasn't the funny murder.
Yeah.
That was what's-his-face, the dude who gave him the gun.
Yeah.
That was even brutal.
Yeah,
That was
like, I gets what he deserved. Oh,
It was brutal. What funny was after he killed him.
Yeah. And happy about cops being gang mobbed and put in intensive care. Very dark and twisted. Not
That's the Joker.
much scary besides the guy that gets his meds, that can't get his meds anymore from the government. Not much scary. Joker's a horror film because it came out in October.
Yep, that makes it a horror film.
Not much in the way of comic book entertainment. They didn't even touch on the card games he would play in the comic books. What? You just have the Joker card?
I'm sorry that they didn't touch upon one specific thing he sometimes does in the comics, specifically with Batman when Batman's not around yet.
Yeah.
I guess summary of this is, Dwan, you're an idiot. You're an idiot who complains about how it doesn't match up to a comic book that you clearly haven't actually read because you know Batman comics aren't colorful.
Also, you complain that it's political, but you also got to make the person a villain.
Yeah. You complain that's political, well then, like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, what do you...
60s Batman.
Apparently... Like, what the fuck do you...
I want 60s Batman, too.
Even Marvel films are inherently slightly political. Like, Iron Man has always had, like, a commentary about, like, government involvement. It's a super, like, laissez-faire, like, fucking Ayn Rand shit, like, political viewpoint, and it sucks, and it's stupid. But it's a political viewpoint.
No, Iron Man's deal is always, like, he thinks everything, like...
It should be privatized, which is Ayn Rand's deal. Like, Iron Man is literally just, like, Fountainhead and, like, whatever the fuck.
No, Iron Man's...
Atlas Shrugged.
I was thinking more like Iron Man Civil War, where he thinks everything should be mediated by the government.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm talking like Iron Man 1 and 2. That's, like, Atlas Shrugged. And then, like, Civil War is, like, a ton of, like, government shit. There's been a fuck ton of politics in Marvel, which are bright and colorful, which is exactly what you apparently want.
I think the big idea...
Did you watch Black Panther? So much politics.
I think the big deal behind Iron Man is that we should believe in our billionaires. We should give Elon Musk even more money so we can
here's-
nuke Mars.
Here's the thing with Marvel Comics politics. They're very maintain the status quo and center to right. They're not super left. So, like, the issue isn't that it's political, it's that it's not the political you already agree with.
Yeah. Ashley Till gives us a downvote. I like the story along with many details included. What I didn't like was how slow the story was.
Oh, no.
It was a very long movie that felt like it drug on at times.
Not really. No. For, like, the type of films that this is pulling off of, this actually moves pretty quick and, like, was pretty tightly paced.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Watch fucking Taxi Driver if you want a slow film of this type.
I'm trying to think like slow superhero movies. Like, what's the slowest one? Endgame's fucking long.
Endgame's long, but it's not slow. Ang
Oh.
Lee's Hulk.
Oh no, not Ainsley's Hall. So you're missing the big one. Thor: The Dark World.
For the Dark World's always slow because it's fucking pointless and nothing fucking happens.
Same thing for Ang Lee.
Ang Lee's Hulk at least had a point. It was a stupid point, but it had a point.
Also, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Not my favorite. Heath Ledger and Jared Leto will always have this role. You like the Jared Leto?
You
I like the design of the Jared Leto because it's shitty.
You like the design for like ironically?
No, like, yeah. It's like something Joker would do. He would like,
No, he wouldn't.
like, because it's shitty.
Joker has
It's
class.
a meme.
Look, even when Joker was like in his I'm cutting my own face off and then stapling it back on face, he's still dressed with class and he had no tattoos.
That's your big deal, Mr.
Yep.
Joke class.
Point being though is you cannot put Heath Ledger and Jared Leto as like the same tier Joker because one is actually like a good performance by a talented actor, and the other one is Jared Leto being a shithead on camera for a little while. But he's damaged.
Joaquin Phoenix did a great representation of mental illness and how society treats them. Was amazing to touch base on the sensitivity of the topics along with the abuse of his low life seemed to attract. What I would enjoy seeing in this role would be a younger representation of the character. Joaquin was too old for me to see this as an origin story. What the fuck age? Tony Stark was like in his fucking 40s when Iron Man 1 happened.
When he built
He was in
a cave with a box of scraps.
He was in post-cocaine phase.
Yeah.
You don't reach post-cocaine phase until you're at least 40.
Yeah, and like Danny DeVito was the Penguin, so like what you complaining about?
Danny DeVito needs to, like, they're casting a Penguin for this next one, which Jonah Hill wanted to be the Riddler, and he kept on saying, no, I won't be Penguin. No, I won't be
And then they
Penguin.
lost him.
And then, no, he was like, yeah, you can do it. Give me $10 million for the fucking film. And they were like, nah.
Now, Paul Dano is the Riddler.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be great. He makes.
I don't know if he'll be great.
Having seen him in There'll Be Blood, I think he's.
I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Here's the thing: the Riddler is not like Jim Carrey's Riddler.
No, I want Jim Carrey's Riddler.
I don't want Jim Carrey's Riddler. But
I want
anyways,
Jim Carrey
We
back.
should recast Danny DeVito as the Penguin again.
No, like, honestly, like, the Penguin.
Is a dumb character too. Like as much
No,
as
no,
I
no,
like
no,
that,
no. I
Penguin's
wasn't
kind of a
getting
dumb
that.
character.
Yeah, but like, I'm not getting into that. The Penguin is usually a character that doesn't really do much.
Yeah,
Like, he doesn't get into fights.
Penguin started out as like a weird gimmicky character, and then as like Batman tried to become more serious, they just turned him into a glorified crime boss.
Literally, basically all the intensity, like, Danny DeVito would need to do is stand there, and then they would need to CGI his face onto a body double when Batman uppercuts him into the air.
You said something else.
Yeah. It was speech. I slurred my words. But like, I'm thinking like the scene in Arkham City where he just like launches him. Also, if they're doing the Penguin, they need the glass bottle version of Penguin
where his like monocle is a glass bottle stuck in his eye.
yeah, because someone stabbed him when he was like 20.
That's like a great design choice.
That's something that like didn't resonate with me until the last time I played through Arkham City. What I would have enjoyed seeing this role and be a younger representation of character. Joaquin was just too old for me to see his origin story. I think if they'd done the story out of his later life after he was established, I don't know. I think that misses the point.
Yeah.
Then it would have been a better role for him. No, not really.
No, not really.
But it would not take away from anyone who enjoyed this movie because it was well executed. It was just too slow to me.
Sorry
It wasn't.
that there wasn't like 1,000 fucking explosions.
Are you ready? Again, IMDb, Internet Movie Database for all the movies that store. Critics and users.
Everybody knows what it is. Just move on.
Critics and users can submit
is
their
already getting too
scores and
wrong.
their opinions.
Move on.
Too bad.
Get to shit that actually matters.
One thing I forgot to mention. Google reviews. 93% people enjoyed the film. People that upvoted the film.
Good to know.
Better than Silent Hill.
I assume so.
IMDb 8.9. Also better than Silent Hill.
Good.
First
Moving
time
on.
in a while we had.
Anyway, Ben Fur, 1, has a 1 out of 10 review. Ridiculous, well acted trash.
Saw the movie Joker. It's okay. Nothing special. If you say it's okay, but give it a 1 out of 10.
An okay is like a 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's a weak taxi driver with face paint where a drug addict loser.
He's not
Yeah,
drug
he's not.
addicted. Like, if you think that because somebody has to take meds for like a mental health issue makes them a drug addict, A, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. B, fuck you. And C, just go fuck yourself.
Okay, Mr. Edgelord, you need to calm down.
Look, demonizing people who have
I know,
to take
but
pills
like,
is shitty.
this is also an idiot online. You need to like chill out a
No,
little
fuck
bit.
him. He needs to understand what he did wrong.
Yeah, I think we should be more angered by this next statement. Loser blames everybody, white people, for all his failings.
He does no. He
does it.
he doesn't blame specifically white people, like at all. People are just it's society and government and just it's society. It's the government and just the general like treatment of like the world around him. It had nothing to do with fucking white people being white. This is
It's a pretty right-leaning review.
look at the last line of this,
and
and that summarizes everything. This is an old fucking right-wing piece of shit who's just too fucking angry because like nobody agrees with his shitty racist politics anymore.
Okay, let's just move through this and just acknowledge the fact this is bad. Phoenix is great as usual, but the movie is just mediocre and actually offensive, and it's ultra liberal preach. Actually, this is pretty centrist.
It's very centrist. This is not an ultra liberal. Again, if
That's something we didn't bring up. I thought
this is a very right wing view, which is why he thinks it's ultra liberal because it's centrist.
Yeah. Millennials will love it because it reinforces their high school and college teachings that nothing is their fault.
That's not what we're taught at all. We're taught that like the boomers fucked up because you did, but like
Because they didn't have a war right after World War II that was impactful.
Yeah.
Or that they won. Because the Korean War was so boring that everyone forgot
the Korean
exists.
War just kind of ended. Nobody really won that one, and then we lost Vietnam. So good job.
I think everyone lost Vietnam.
Yeah.
Except for Vietnam.
Yeah.
Just their parents, their boss, the society, the government, their society, their neighbors, the cops, God and everything else but them. That's why it has a 9 on IMDb. Actually 8.9, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah,
because it's
fucking worth a
superior.
read.
Because it's superior to Godfather to this generation. As a movie, it's just like Millennials, pathetic. This is what I was expecting for like the worst.
Yeah. So, how did you look at the how many people like upvoted or found it
None.
helpful? No one.
None.
Good, because
I went to the bottom of the barrel.
This is the fucking dumbest fucking comment and review ever. You're very clearly racist because you brought up white people when the movie itself didn't. Which this is one of the most victimist. Like you want to be a victim for no fucking reason. Like fuck you. Like you racist, probably homophobic. You didn't mention anything about that, but I'm just going to assume so based on everything else you've said. Right wing, probably like borderline alt-right. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Semper Van, boring and disappointing. 1 out of 10. Great job acting from Joaquin Phoenix. If his job was to do the origin story for Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
That's not even close to being like.
No, this character's completely different. I don't remember a lot of the Silence of the Lambs. I don't remember the character of Buffalo Bill besides he puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I don't remember much from the movie. This is the most limp-wristed, feminine, non-masculine Joker I've ever seen.
Okay. Have you seen a Joker like from a comic? He's fucking lanky as shit.
Yeah.
Like Joker is not like a bulky, muscular individual. He's very.
Well, Titan Joker.
Well, Titan Joker.
Titan Joker's fucking ripped.
Titan Joker's so fucking ripped. He ripped his skin. But No, Joker's not like a physically imposing individual other than like he's really, really tall in the comics. He's like 6'4".
This is actually probably the most masculine Joker, to the point where he's so masculine he's toxic masculine.
No, I'd say the most toxic masculine is probably Jared Leto Joker. He's the like toxic. He's so toxically masculine.
But here's the thing.
Like, tries too hard.
Here's the thing. No one remembers.
Well, yeah.
This is the one that actually matters.
I wouldn't even say he's not really masculine. He's not. He doesn't really.
No, I think he's masculine in the sense that he's just toxic.
Yeah, but
I don't think he has feminine qualities.
Yeah, no, nothing about him is like. I guess so. Basically, this person defines feminine as being not buff, which is stupid. Very stupid. You're almost as dumb as the person before it.
Dude, I need my Joker to be fucking ripped.
Look, if Joker can't fucking bench a keg, then what the fuck's he even doing
If
here?
this was not called the Joker movie, it would have been that bad. What? It would not have. If this was not called the Joker movie, it would have not been that bad. Just a horrible Joker movie. What? If it's not called the Joker movie, it would have not been bad. I don't understand.
Look, you're stupid and you're clearly toxically masculine. Please just get off the internet.
But I think people are liking this to feel bad about the money they spent to watch. No, I liked it.
Yeah. Look, I have no problem hating a movie I spent money to watch.
Yeah.
All right, I watched Midsummer and I plan on buying the like fucking director's cut.
Do
to
not.
watch it again and
Do
hate
not.
it again.
I'm not reviewing
I'm
it.
gonna spend even more money to hate it even more
No, I don't think you should.
because I have a problem and I hate myself.
You do have a problem.
Basically, summary of this: you're very clearly toxically masculine, and you're just as bad as the person before you. Probably.
No, probably not as bad.
Probably not as bad, but you're up there.
I think it's just
And also,
well.
you've clearly never actually read a Batman comic with Joker if you think that Joker's supposed to be like big and buff and masculine. Yep. Or you read the bad ones, the ones that aren't actually canon. The one where like Joker's a member of the Yakuza and he has a giant fucking dragon tattoo on his back. You read that one, which is...
That's my Joker.
That's your Joker. Love that Joker. All right, let's move on.
Keep in mind those tears are futile and meaningless. Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
What tier?
It's like A, B.
Yeah, I'd say A. If this movie wasn't so like blatantly like...
Okay, so like one thing I want to get over is like one, I think because movie, I think the centrist ideas are interesting. They fit like the narrative, but I also think at times they're cop out.
Yeah. And
another
also,
thing,
it owes itself way too much to like other films to like stand on its own as like an S tier.
Yeah. Also, another thing, there's some like sketchy writing in this.
Yeah.
At like brief instances. So like the therapy scenes.
There's too many off scenes. There's too much cop out centrism for like because it's a mainstream ish movie. And there's too much like blatant ripping off of Taxi Driver and
then
King of
also
Comedy.
the occasional shots will be really sketchy. There's some really fucking phenomenal shots in here.
Yeah, there's that one Wes Anderson shot.
Yeah, with the cemetery when he's in the.
And again, when Bruce
where was that? Where was he?
He was
at?
on a bus.
Yeah,
Which is the most like Wes Anderson symmetrical shot you could do. It's just somebody on the back of
and
a
he's
bus.
quirky.
And he's quirky. And also, like, again, they did a lot of symmetry when, like, Bruce was, like, over his parents' bodies.
But the refrigerator scene where he goes and
Was
sits inside.
randomly, like, handheld and shaky for no goddamn reason.
It felt like they just, like, it was like a rough cut.
Yeah.
That had, like, good sound still and, like, color. But,
Yeah.
like, the shot felt like a rough cut.
And
They
also,
just
like,
didn't
I don't even understand really why that scene was there. Like, he got in the fridge.
And it didn't end when he got on the fridge. It held for, like, 30 seconds after.
Like, shook a bit. Why did I say shook a bitch? It shook a bit, and then it just ends. Like, it was a pointless scene with a bad camera work, and it just shouldn't have been there.
And none of the other shots in this film are, like, that noticeably handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a scene that you could literally cut out entirely and it would have literally improved the film.
Yeah. Final terrible segment.
You said you had an idea.
I have an idea. I think we're gonna change.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Actually, maybe I should go with my original idea. I think we're gonna go with this. 10 other things Joker couldn't do because he has to be completely moral.
Wait, what?
10 things Joker has to, like, he can't do.
In this film because he has to be, like,
moral.
not completely evil.
Yeah, he's be completely, like, righteous.
But he wasn't completely right.
No, I mean, like, that was the idea of a lot of the backlash to this. People are like, more main characters have to be moral. Blah, blah, blah.
Do you want me to pull from things he actually did in the comics?
If you want to,
I will.
they could be like things he can't do hypothetically that he couldn't have done that are just completely stupid, or they could be like real things he can't do.
You could do the hypotheticals. I'll pull from actual things.
Okay,
in the
you
comics.
want 10? Okay, 10, number 10.
Okay, I'll take number 10. So, thing number 1 that Joker actually did in the comics, that he can't do this because he wouldn't be likable at all. The entire actual nature of his relationship with Harley Quinn, which includes beating her, pushing her off of buildings, shooting her, stabbing her, throwing her in a vat of acid in the newest, iteration of the character. Basically, the Joker and Harley Quinn were literally created to be a textbook abusive relationship.
No,
Not
really?
to be romanticized, like people have been doing. Basically, the entirety of his actual relationship with Harley Quinn, you could not show in this film if you wanted Joker to be in any way, shape, or form at all at any point likable.
Number
9.
just getting his dick out.
Oh, he's gonna Louis C.K. it
That's exactly what I was thinking.
because he's a stand-up comedian, and that's what they do.
Like Dave Chappelle in his latest stand-up special, he goes over the Louis C.K. thing.
Yeah.
And he just brings up the visuals of it, and it's just completely how someone on the other end hello, Louis C.K. has his dick out, and the police officer's like, what is he doing with it?
She's got it out.
Yep. Number 8.
Okay, Fane Joker actually did in the comics. That's awful. The actual events with Barbara Gordon from The Killing Joke, where he breaks into her house, shoots her through the spine, possibly sexually assaults her, undresses her, and takes pictures of her, just literally only to torment her dad.
Oh, really? That's not moral.
Yeah, that's not moral. Didn't know if you know that.
Well, we're in Trump's America.
That's true.
Anything's legal as long as you're rich. And I have.
And Joker has at various points in his lifetime had a lot of money. Like Trump has at various points in his lifetime had a lot of money. He's also lost it quite a bit. He's gone bankrupt a couple times. Lost a couple businesses and shit.
But Joker just burns his businesses to the ground.
Well, so does Trump, kind of. He burns them with bad business decisions. Joker just burns them literally on fire. Number 7.
Set a pile of money on fire because money is valuable because we live in a capitalist society.
So the Dark Knight.
Yeah, but in a way that's like people are treating the money more as an actual person.
Okay, fair enough.
In a weird absurdist way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a sorry to bother you type way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 6.
So during the No Man's Land story arc, at this point, Jim Gordon has remarried. He has a new wife named Sarah. Joker decides, you know what? I still kind of fucking hate Jim. So he lures Sarah to an abandoned building. Do you know what No Man's Land is?
It's the one where they get flooded, right?
It's the big earthquake and the whole island is a quarantine.
I don't know
zone.
much of the arc. I know what No Man's Land is.
So anyway, he lures her to this abandoned building with a fuck ton of babies that he fucking stole. He literally stole a shit ton of babies to do this. In the exact moment she comes, he throws a baby at her, and the moment she catches it, he shoots her dead, and then just leaves the babies in her blood and just walks away. You're here's the thing, when he did it, he didn't even smile. He didn't even enjoy this. This wasn't even something he did for kicks. He did it purely to fuck with Gordon. Out of pure spite. You can't kidnap babies and then shoot a woman in the chest for trying to save the
No,
babies.
that's not a moral thing.
That's not a moral
I'm
thing.
pretty sure that's a moral thing.
What are we on? Number 5?
Number 5.
Number 5.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one. I don't know. It's not moral to steal babies.
No.
You sure?
No matter what raised in Arizona might tell you, it's not moral.
Because I don't know. I think according to our current government, it's okay. It's not okay to kill babies.
But you can steal them.
You can
so
steal
long
them.
as they're not from this country. And it's not moral to just steal a baby from a hospital, but if you take a child from their parents' arms directly while they cross the border seeking refuge and then throw them in a concentration camp, apparently that's moral now. I didn't know this.
My mind's just going to the place where it's he invites that Joe Biden's son, and there's just a bunch of ICE children everywhere. Oh, that's dark. That's something that would I don't want to talk about that. That's too real.
Too fucked up. That's too real.
I'm laughing out of pure fear.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That was
your number. What was that? 5?
Yeah,
that was 4.
4. I don't give a fuck at this point.
Number 3. the entire like Joker had a comic run of his own. It was bad, but it was like an Elseworlds type of story, so none of it was real. They did it basically to capitalize on the Dark Knight. So they like remodeled him based off Heath Ledger's Joker, and in that comic he raped a shit ton of people, and he skinned one of his like basically when he got out of prison, like he found out that like one of his like former coworkers had been like having sex with Harley like consensually, and his response to this was which he had raped Harley, so like
Yeah.
his response to him having consensual sex with Harley was to skin him alive.
Yeah. Seems like a Joker thing.
Yeah, it seems like a Joker thing.
Yeah.
Because Joker's an awful human being.
He's supposed to be moral, right?
And-
He's 100% moral.
Yeah.
Because he's a character.
Yeah, he's the main character, which means he has to be good. American Psycho's not a thing. What are we on, number 2?
Yeah, number 2. He plays people Huey Lewis in the news and doesn't kill them.
Wait, no, you're on number 3, because I did 4, so you're on 3. This is your number 3.
Yeah, he plays people Huey Lewis in the news and he doesn't kill them. He doesn't put them out of their misery.
It's awful. All right, number 2, the Emperor Joker storyline. Do you know what this is?
I think I do.
Do you know
vaguely.
who Mixel Pixelstick is?
No.
So Mixel Pixelstick's like a 4th dimensional imp. He's basically like all powerful and basically a god. He's Superman's villain. At one point, Joker somehow tricks him to give him his powers, making him powerless. But Joker is now like this all powerful 4th dimensional god. And his response was to make himself a giant like god, like emperor over the world.
So he just becomes Bill Cipher.
No. Well, yeah. He decided he wanted to get Chinese food, so he literally ate the entire country of China. And then he decided that he wanted to finally kill Batman, but not have him stay dead because otherwise he has no purpose. So he just sets Batman up in like a daily like routine of like he kills him, he brings him back to life, he tortures him, kills him, brings him back to life like forever.
And how is he defeated?
Eventually, like Mixel Picklesticks tricks him into giving him his powers back.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
I think like the more interesting thing would have been like
I feel like that one was like not as bad as like a lot of the other ones I said, but it was just the last one I decided to say.
yeah, because it's pretty cartoony.
It's super cartoony.
It's just like again Bill Cipher.
Yeah, it's Bill Cipher, but like with a lot more racism and violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't know. Bill Cipher could be a huge racist.
I mean, he probably is, but like at least he hides it. I think.
There's only one black character in Gravity Falls, and that's the cop. Weirdly enough.
Yeah. I can't tell if that's really progressive or not. I feel like
I think it's kind of counter-progressive.
probably. It probably is.
Because, like, he's just a government pond.
Yeah. All right. Number 1.
Number 1. I don't know. I think it's just, like...
He does the actions of literally any other
I think
Joker in any other movie.
I think what it is he gets on the stairs. Or no, he's, like, teasing like he's going to say society, and then he never does.
But then in a social circumstance that we are currently in. So you son of a bitch.
Is it a film?
Yes.
Okay, and that's it for this week's episode. Is it a film? Till next time, guys. If you want to follow Is It a Film on social media, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Is It a Film. You can find us at youtube.com/Is It a Film. You can find us at Patreon if you want to support us monetarily at patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. And you can find us at all major podcast streaming services under The Anthony and Todd Show. You can get the best of music and film reviews in the same place. Till next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
We would really review films. We just mostly talk about them for like an hour.
Well, we brought up that this
We
film...
eventually review and critique, but...
Unless it's Fantastic Mr. Fox, then we just bring up, like, a bunch of weird bestiality.
Yeah, we just make a... Fantastic Mr. Fox is a weird review. Have you put Mind Game up yet?
Sorry, up.
Is it? I need to check more often.
Yeah. Till next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Oh, God. And see you, boys.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Please stop.